driving enhancement program for holders of non-professional driver's license. Let us start our session by nurturing knowledge and awareness on road safety. What is defensive driving? Defensive driving is a set of driving skills that allows you to defend yourself against possible collisions caused by bad drivers, drunk drivers, and poor weather. If you look ahead and keep your eyes moving, you will spot potential hazard more easily. Once you have identified a potential hazard and decided what to do, act immediately. What qualities must a defensive driver have? A defensive driver must have a positive attitude on road safety. To have a safe driving attitude, you must have control of your emotions and behavior. Practice defensive driving techniques and accept responsibility for all of your driving decisions. A defensive driver must be physically and mentally fit to drive. When we say physically fit, it is the non-existence of fatigue or health condition that can cause a driver to lose control or become immobilized during driving. Mentally fit, on the other hand, is the ability to focus, being stable mentally and emotionally, and the ability to make sound judgment that is required while driving. A defensive driver must also have received proper training before driving. Well-trained drivers can make the road more safe to everyone. And that's why in the Philippines, theoretical driving courses are seriously being implemented before having a driver's license. A defensive driver must also know how to apply the basic knowledge of vehicle maintenance. Regular maintenance reduces the probability of a motor vehicle breakdown, and your motor vehicle will be in great condition to support your journey. Let's move on to the human factors that affect driving. First, we have attitude. Attitude is a feeling, belief, or opinion of approval or disapproval towards something. It is a mental and emotional entity that characterizes a person. What are the positive attitudes of a defensive driver? For example, someone who prioritizes safety over any situation. Someone who thinks critically according to a sound decision. And a driver who could maintain his cool despite the negative ambience on the road, like traffics, bad weather, and annoying drivers. Next, we have behavior. Behavior is an action or reaction that occurs in response to an event or internal stimuli, for example, our thoughts. Behavior is an activity or action done after the attitude occurs. What are the positive behavior of a defensive driver? A defensive driver complies with the road rules, patient and courteous toward other road users, following other vehicles at a safe distance, for example, not tailgating, strictly observing all speed limits including those in restricted areas, allowing other vehicles to merge and change lanes, accepting that all drivers make mistakes and avoiding aggressive or offensive behavior. Let's move on to the defensive driving method. First, search. Search the roads seen ahead, around, and rear of the vehicle. Search for important signs and motor vehicles that could affect your safety on the road. Search, but do not lose focus on the road. Next, identify. Identify the potential and immediate hazard on the road. Being able to identify helps us decide and respond more quickly on how to deal with this kind of situation. Next, we have predict. Predict the actions of other road users. Behavior of other road user is out of our control. It is best to choose safety decisions than going head-on with the other road users. That could lead to road crash. Next is decide. Decide what to do to avoid an unsafe situation. Next, execute. Execute the action as a result of decision. Sometimes, execution is hard when we are not well informed about defensive driving. It is also important to gain courage when executing a decision, since some situations needs immediate actions, which sometimes even if we know what to do, it becomes harder to execute because of fear or shock. Keys to attain an effective defensive driving. First, we have concentration. Concentration is a dynamic mechanism which activates and coordinates our physical and mental capacities to develop and to maintain goal-oriented behavior. Next, we have driving plans and decision. Route planning is necessary for drivers in order not to get lost or waste time and fuel searching for the road leading to their destination. Driving plans also allow us to lay down multiple safety choices when faced to a specific situation. Next, we have view from the vehicle. We must also have a comfortable position that enables us to see more clearly and to have a better front and rear view. This helps us in different ways like parking, reverse, changing lane, and overtaking. Next, we have speed. Speed is the most common factor of road crash. Higher speed makes your vehicle harder to control. Much more if situations became more difficult, especially when it goes wrong. The time we could respond to the situation becomes shorter when the speed is high. Next, we have fatigue. Fatigue leads to a deterioration of driving performance, manifesting itself in slower reaction time, diminished steering performance, reduced ability to keep sufficient headway, and increased tendency to mentally withdraw from the driving task. Some main causes of fatigue. We have lack of sleep or poor sleep, internal body clock, long working hours, monotonous task or lack of stimulation, individual characteristics including medical conditions. Lastly, following laws, rules, and regulations. They are not restraints that limit our freedom to drive, but to create order, promote road safety. The most important factor is to protect human lives. Let's proceed to defensive driving techniques. Proper use of brakes. Correct steering. Timely changing of gear. Safe reversing, maneuvering, and changing of lanes. In the second session, we discussed about motor vehicle parts and their functions. A good defensive driver must master the use of each parts of the motor vehicle in order to focus more on the road, rather than taking time steering and searching for the parts and their function, because doing so is more of a distraction for a driver. Let's proceed to the proper use of brakes. Less experienced drivers keep banging on brake pedal every now and then. Brakes must be stepped gently. Remember that brakes, especially for cars, are strong. The slightest step could slow down the vehicle. Skidding is caused by sudden and violent braking. Skids are most often caused by excessive speed coupled with too sharp a turn for the vehicles or braking when turning. Brakes should be evenly adjusted so that on application of the brakes, the vehicle slows down in a straight line. If the brakes pull one way or the other, a skid can easily occur. A driver must know if the vehicle is equipped with conventional brake or with anti-lock braking system. Conventional braking system may require continuous pump, while ABS-equipped vehicles require a firm press on the brake pedal. Let's move on to the correct steering. The driver must make sure that his or her hand position while on the steering wheel is comfortable, and the body must be relaxed. A comfortable position helps us prevent being stiff too soon, avoid distractions, and to perform better while maneuvering. Firm but not tight grip on the wheel is all that is needed. Never grip tightly on a slippery road. Tight grips slows our reaction time in maneuvering and lessens the flexibility of our control. The disadvantage of a tight grip on a slippery road is that there is a chance of oversteering or understeering. Next, we must maintain correct hand positioning at all times. We may also use one-hand steering where the left hand steers the wheel while the right rests at the shifting lever. Make sure that elbows and hands are free from obstruction while driving. Next, timely changing of gear. Untimely and improper changing of gear may result to higher consumption of fuel or worse, engine failure. Make sure that you have reached the right speed if you desire to shift your gear higher. When we feel that the vehicle has reached its maximum speed in a specific gear, instead of stepping the gas or accelerator pedal harder, which in effect consumes more fuel, you must now increase the gear in order for the vehicle to run smoothly. Change of gear depends on the speed, capability, and load of the vehicle. Safe reversing, maneuvering, and changing of lanes. Proper use of side and rear view mirrors is a must. Look at the side mirrors quick enough to decide on whatever action to make. For example, for reversing, side mirror helps us have a clearer view of the vehicle's distance on its sides. When you plan to turn right while reversing, turn the steering wheel right. When you plan to turn left, turn the steering wheel on your left. For changing lanes, it is important to check on the mirrors to see whether it is clear for us to change lane or there are vehicles fast approaching behind. Unable to make this as a habit might lead to road crash soon. For those changing lanes, always be aware of blind spots, moving or not moving. Don't drive recklessly. Be aware of your surroundings, drive cautiously, and if in doubt, better stay safe. We have discussed a while ago that it is also important to double check the side mirror before changing lane. Be aware of the movement of vehicle in front. Allow enough space before changing lane. This is to avoid collision due to reckless and miscalculation while changing lanes. For situations like overtaking, upon overtaking, make sure not to suddenly go back to the previous lane. Have enough distance before going back. Road safety, sharing, courtesy, and discipline. Road safety refers to the method and measures used to prevent road users from being killed or seriously injured. Road users are motorists, cyclists, pedestrians, bystanders, law enforcers, and street vendors. Safety rules are provided to protect the ignorant of what they don't know. Honestly speaking, lots have been granted driver's license despite being ignorant. But not today, since theoretical driving course is mandatory to all aspiring drivers. Safety rules are also provided to protect the idiotic from themselves and the innocents from the action of the other two. By saying to protect the idiotic from themselves is that for a person who lacks training and knowledge and who operates motor vehicle with less knowledge, the possibility of road crash is definitely high, thus harming their own selves. And of course, we are more concerned to the damage that the innocents may receive. Road safety also touches sharing, courtesy, and discipline. Road safety is a shared responsibility, and each actions may affect the others. If we choose to drive safely, we choose not only to safeguard our own safety, but also the safety of others. If we choose to be reckless, we put the lives of the other in danger. Sharing the road with emergency vehicle. In times of emergency, we give priority to emergency vehicles like ambulance, police vehicles, and fire trucks for the reasons of one's life in danger or needs medical attention, in pursuit of criminals that may affect innocent people, and for prevention of spreading a disaster. When we hear and see these vehicles in a hurry, make sure to give way. What to do when we encounter emergency vehicles? First, slow down and stop. Move to the right or left side of the lane to give the emergency vehicle a clearer way. If you can't move, stay where you are and let the emergency vehicle overtake you. Next, never follow the path of emergency vehicles. If you are in an intersection, cross first before giving the right of way. Next, with motorcycles. Avoid excessive use of horn while following or overtaking. Never be a bully. Drivers have their own behavior. You might be honking on a wrong guy that might end up you regretting it. Motorcycles have lesser protection. Our bullying might end up killing a person, which in return would lead us in prison. Double check the side mirrors and blind spots before and after overtaking. Give enough space to motorcycles in front or besides us. Be extra careful since unlike cars, motor vehicles sometimes would appear out of nowhere, especially in blind spots. And allow enough distance when following a motorcycle. Watch out for the brake and signal lights. Unlike other motor vehicles, motorcycles have smaller brake and signal lights that are sometimes hard to notice, especially during daylight. Watch out for the rider's hand signals. Sometimes, hand signals varies, especially to those who do not know the proper hand signals. That's why, when you see a rider waving a hand signal, don't immediately turn to the side the rider is pointing. He or she might be going into a different way. Better to slow down and wait for a moment of the certain passage of the motorcycle. Watch out also for the head of the rider. And watch out for the feet of the rider. Sometimes they use this as an alternative signal. Sharing the road with trucks and buses. Do not overtake if not properly seen. Trucks and buses are fast too, and they have a longer body, which means more time is needed when overtaking trucks and buses. Unlike cars and motorcycle, they also have a wider body, which makes it more unsafe to overtake them, especially when faster cars from the opposite side of the road are approaching. With that being said, avoid overtaking on a curved road. Be sure to have enough power when overtaking on a steep road. Use flashing headlight while overtaking. It signals the driver in front of you that you are overtaking. Signal is important in order for the driver in front to be aware whether to slow down when an approaching vehicle is coming, and also for the driver not to suddenly change lane. Be careful when passing from the right of a passenger bus. Sometimes, it is hard to predict whether a bus would stop or not. But definitely, when a bus needs to drop a passenger, it turns into its right. That's why we need to be careful. As much as possible, do not drive on the lanes intended for trucks and buses. When driving on a highway next or near a truck or bus, you are taking a considerable amount of risk if you are not aware of the larger vehicle's limitation. Since you have a smaller vehicle and trucks and buses has lots of blind spots, there is a tendency that you might crash into them. Larger vehicle also need a larger maneuvering space. A small miscalculation could cause a massive damage to your vehicle and to your condition. Never cut. Look at the rear or side mirrors before changing lane. Provide maneuvering space to trucks and buses. Sharing the road with beginners. Never be a bully. Allow new driver enough space for maneuvering. Avoid following too close. Be aware of sudden brakes. Avoid overtaking too close on the side. We too started as a beginner. We know the feeling of being tensed while driving on the road. We know the feeling of fear to commit and face the consequences of our mistakes. Thus, let us give due respect to beginners. Since beginners' maneuvering control has not been mastered yet, following and overtaking too close is both a risk to the beginner and to ourselves as well. Sharing the road with other road users. Other road users means pedestrians, cyclists, street vendors, law enforcers, construction workers, and others. Allow enough space for other road users. Be extra cautious when maneuvering on a dense road. Next, be careful when passing school zones and markets or malls. Be aware and considerate of PWDs. Avoid using excessive horn. Excessive use of horn could be interpreted as being disrespectful and rude. What is courtesy? It is the showing or act of politeness in one's attitude and behavior toward others. Be courteous, but this does not mean that you are giving the right of way to anyone at any time. At times, you need to invoke your right of way for the other party to learn. Be courteous. This does not mean give up your rights in all situations. That is not always safe. But it does mean that in many situations, you should give up your right to be where you are, to the person trying to be there. Always remember that safety is our top priority. Next, we have self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to control yourself and to make yourself work hard or behave in a particular way without needing anyone else to tell you what to do. Driving requires undetermined level of self-control and doing the right thing upon a particular situation. Self-discipline, if practiced often, could unnoticingly change some bad habits that we have into good ones. Driving could really teach us so much, especially in one's behavior and attitude when taken positively. Road discipline is knowing and abiding the traffic laws, rules, and regulations, even if no one is supervising. The dominant feeling of knowing and abiding is not much on fear of getting caught when violating, but more of a feeling of responsibility towards road safety. Next, we have stress. Stress is a physical, mental, or emotional tension experienced by a person that demands immediate, fair, and equitable decision. It can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. Stress is your body's reaction to a challenge or demand. Next, we have the stress-o-meter. Let's look at the common causes of stress while driving. We have personal and family problems, heavy traffic, annoying and excessive horn or noisy mufflers, undisciplined and discourteous motorists, passengers, and pedestrians. It is normal to be stressed of something or someone, but it could also affect your performance as a driver. The challenge now is how to make it less stressful when faced to some situations like traffic, annoying things, and undisciplined people. Personal problems arise, but stressing out while driving won't solve the problem. It might just lead to another problem in the context of road safety. Other common causes of stress while driving are malfunctioning of traffic lights, improper pavement markings, improper parking, improper handling of traffic by law enforcers, detour or closing of roads. The mentioned causes, as we could see, are shallow causes of stress. That's why a bit of understanding and patience could prevent increased stress. Another common causes of stress while driving: fake emergency vehicles, especially ambulances, incorrect headlights of oncoming vehicles, annoying tailgaters, and unexplained sudden stop of vehicle in front. Let's move on to the effects of stress on your body. Stress affects the brain. It leads you to depression, the feeling of loneliness that deteriorates your energy and negatively affects how you feel, think, and act. Stress could also make us anxious, which is an excessive feeling of fear that could also lead to overthinking and overworrying. Stress can increase blood cholesterol, triglycerides, blood sugar, and blood pressure, thus leading to the risk of heart attack. Stress could also affect our lungs. The effects wherein strained breathing and possible asthma attack. It can worsen the symptoms of asthma and chronic lung diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, and chronic bronchitis. Stress could also affect our stomach, wherein we could experience stomach pain with or even without ulcer. Stress could also affect our bones, wherein we could experience frequent muscle and joint pains. How to handle stress due to personal or family problems. First, we need to have a strong sense of self, wherein we deal with family problems without neglecting our own needs. Ignoring your own need results in anxiety and discomfort whenever surrounded by family members. Be open to your family, talk things out, and if you may, share the load with your abled family members. Face the issue and prioritize your actions towards solving the problem. Handling stress due to heavy traffic and bad road conditions. Focus on going home or going to your destination safe and sound. Playing music inside the motor vehicle may also release building tension towards stress. Concentrate and be alert on the road. Don't think too much of problems or get upset due to traffic. Remember that getting upset won't solve the traffic. Handling stress due to unlawful traffic enforcers. Keep a good and composed disposition. If apprehended by unlawful enforcer, and when certain of no violations being committed, You may ask the nature of violation, from what agency, and the name of the officer. You may contest this later on in the office of the enforcer. Being aggressive and hot-headed might just worsen the problem. Next, handling stress due to undisciplined motorists and pedestrians. Still, remain your cool, keep calm, and avoid unnecessary actions that would lead you to a more stressful situation. Is it worth it to overcome stress? Definitely yes. Remember that every person experiences stress. It is up to each individual on how they handle it. But as a driver, you have a big responsibility in controlling your emotions, as it can greatly affect your driving and may endanger your surroundings. Let's talk about stress management. First, smile and laugh. There are lots of good things to be grateful about. If the moment gives you a time to enjoy, smile, and laugh with your loved ones or people around you, then don't hold back. Remember, you are a human being and you certainly deserve to be happy. Next, talk yourself through it. No other person could take the responsibility of your decisions but yourself. Have a strong sense of self. Know your reasons, know your goal, and organize a plan. It's okay not to be okay. It shows we are normal. But don't stick to it for too long. Do something about your problems. Change starts from ourselves. Next, relax, enjoy, and be happy. Find time to unwind and loosen yourself. Do not deprive yourself from the goods we could have in this world. Eat right. Eat good food with your family. Treat yourself with something you would enjoy. Drink moderately with your friends. Travel to other places. Gather positive energy and be happy. I repeat, you deserve it. Next, spend time with family, friends, pets. If there is a place that could accept you for who you are, it's home. Family and friends are our safe zone, our charging area. We all need someone who would continuously lift our spirits up. Remember that no man is an island. We all need someone to fill up those holes in our heart. And sleep well or better. We have been talking about fatigues and stress, but what we really need is a good sleep to prepare us for the next day. Meditate and focus at present. We are in a generation wherein we keep on working non-stop and our mind gets mixed up of different things and challenges fed to us by life. Sometimes we get confused and sometimes we tend to neglect some responsibilities. Meditating from time to time allows us to assess ourselves and recognize the points in our life that need immediate action. Focusing at the present could prevent such confusion. Next, we also need to ask for protection and guidance to the Almighty. Sometimes, in an unexplainable way, we experience such protection and guidance. Take notes. Make it a habit to at least have a planner so that we could develop a good sense of time management. Taking notes enables us not to forget things and tasks. It makes prioritizing easy. It is also an indicator to prepare for the next task written in your plan. Make it a habit so that we don't miss even a little detail of our responsibility, which, if not taken care, could be a burden soon. Next, avoid too much caffeine. Excessive caffeine consumption can cause symptoms such as irritability, nervousness, irregular or rapid heartbeat, muscle twitching, and slurred speech. At the same time, drinks that are high in sugar content can actually lead to fatigue. Next, gum. Chew gum. Chewing gum enhances alertness and attention while driving because it makes drivers feel more comfortable during driving activities. Exercise. Exercise from time to time. A defensive driver must be both physically and mentally fit. Exercise could help us prevent muscle cramps while driving. It also strengthens our body not to get stiff easily, since pressing down brake, accelerator, and clutch pedal would also be tiring, especially for long drives. Same goes to steering the steering wheel. Music. Studies have found that listening to music you like while driving can help influence safe behavior, positively impact mood, lower breathing rate, reduce driver stress and aggression, and help drivers focus. Next, embrace and cuddle. Do you know that hugs can reduce stress by showing support? Studies say that hugs are good to one's heart health and can make us happier. But of course, be careful not to be cuddling other people's husband or wife. No. Learn to say it. It's important to be able to say no so you feel empowered while still maintaining your relationship with others. Saying no helps you establish healthy boundaries and enables others to have clarity about what they can expect from you. Next, take a deep breath. Breathe in the positive energy. Breathe out the negative ones. Breathe in confidence and breathe out fear. Stay calm, all is well. So, remember, stress management. What are the primary goals of a driver? As a driver and road user, our goals are to put order on the road and to safely reach the destination. We have no control on how other drivers behave and act, but it does not mean we could not achieve this goal. By starting the discipline to ourselves, we could influence others. Safety is our top priority. Remember that your loved ones are waiting. Drive safe, because other drivers' loved ones are also waiting. Stress. What are the negative effects of stress? Failure to overcome stress will result to a road rage. Remember, stress affects our mental composure, especially on road. If you are the type who is short-tempered and gets irritated easily, there is a higher tendency of you acting according to your emotions. That's why it is important to assess yourself and find ways on how to handle your emotions. Who will win between two parties? Neither the aggressive driver nor the victim. We do not benefit from being aggressive or being stressed out with the negative actions of the other. In fact, it could just worsen the situation. Aggressiveness, being responded with aggressiveness, could result to some violations of road rules. We might even drug innocent people with our childish act. Neither two parties win, but surely two parties lost. Road rage. It is an assault in any manner to another person resulting from misunderstanding, lack of traffic knowledge, or discourteousness. These behaviors include rude and offensive gestures, verbal insults, physical threats, or dangerous driving methods targeted toward another driver or non-drivers such as pedestrians or cyclists in an effort to intimidate or release frustration. Road rage can lead to altercations, damage to property, assaults, and collisions that result in serious physical injuries or even death. Let's move on to the bad habits of aggressive drivers. Driving slowly in the left lane. Driving slowly in the left lane can cause accidents. It could also create traffic jams. Remember that left lane are for faster cars who wish to overtake or move quickly than others. Driving slowly in a left lane could also provoke other drivers. Thus, expect the chain of road rage. Another bad habit is tailgating. Tailgating is irritating to the ones being tailgated, especially when the one tailgating activates its headlight. It is not only annoying but also destructive to the eyes, which could affect our focus on the road. The driver being tailgated is also being pressured to drive faster. Sudden stops could cause a road crash. Another bad habit is gestures. Gestures of an aggressive driver, like pointing the middle finger, long eye contact, lip-syncing bad words, making insulting face, and other more that provokes other drivers. Next, we have cutting off. It refers to a vehicle that enters a lane without proper caution, leaving a small amount of distance between other surrounding vehicles. This can be caused by unawareness of surroundings, impatience, and/or aggressiveness. Another thing is that annoying and excessive blowing of horns. And fighting over a parking space. So, let's have a recap of the bad habits of an aggressive driver. In a road rage, don't be a victim. Avoid retaliation. It brings more harm than you think. The situation might even get worse when you retaliate. Be mature enough not to stoop down on a lonely life. It takes at least two to have a fight. Remember, our top priority is our safety. So let the aggressive driver pass and don't be provoked by it. Your irritation will soon pass, and soon you'll reach your destination. Put away your pride. Your pride won't be the one paying for your violations or hospital bills, nor will revive you when road crash occur. Your pride won't make you a better person than the aggressive driver. Forget about winning. Driving is not a contest. The only reward we could get in driving is getting to our destination safely. We have mentioned a while ago to avoid eye contact. Engaging in eye contact with an angry driver could mean a provocation. Mind conditioning. Condition your mind before you leave your house or office. Many things could happen on the road. Thus, focus and deal only with what is important at the present moment. If you have problems, control yourself not to be affected by it while driving. If the worst case scenario occur, where contact or collision was made with the aggressive driver, get help. If we deal with it on our own, the argument won't reach to a conclusion. Thus, it is best to call the traffic authorities. They are the proper authority to deal with an aggressive or dangerous driver. Results of road rage. We have emotional setback. Regret always comes after our actions. Road rage is a choice. We could prevent this to happen if only we choose not to, and only if we are mentally fit and have proper discipline. Think first before you act. Recognize the consequences of an action before doing it and who will be affected by our actions. Other results like fines and penalties, suspension or revocation of driver's license, suspension or termination from work. Aside from fines, there is also the possibility of imprisonment, depending on the gravity of the violation. Road rage could also result to serious injury to aggressive driver, victim, and innocent people. Worst of all, road rage could result to a person's death. Thus, think first before acting. Remedies to conquer road rage. Adjust your attitude. Lower your pride and give way to person who are hard to reason with. Doing so is not a loss. Forget winning. As we mentioned a while back, driving is not a contest. What matters most is our safety. Get help from a doctor. If you're not feeling well, don't wait till you reach the point that your condition gets worse. And pray before and after trip. Pray for protection and pray for Thanksgiving for keeping you safe. Remember that your loving family is waiting at home. Let's discuss about gender and development. Gender mainstreaming is a strategy adopted internationally in order to meet gender equality goals and women's empowerment. Nowadays, we have witnessed to an increase of women drivers, also women who operates public utility vehicles, even trailer trucks. Just like men, women are very much capable in operating on the road. In line with this, Gender and Development would like to promote women empowerment. Thus, never judge and discriminate lady drivers, especially those operating PUVs, by not trusting them to drive for you. In fact, lady drivers have been more safely operating motor vehicles than men. Gender development gives emphasis also to non-drivers. Avoid activities that would bring harm to women. Another important subject is the gender sensitivity, which empowers citizens who are in most need of assistance, like differently abled person, senior citizens, pregnant women, and children. We must be aware of the different programs that the land transportation sector has provided for them. Let's move on to the causes and prevention of road crashes and breakdowns. Usual road crash happens when a person who has the last clear chance or opportunity of avoiding an accident failed to avoid it. One main reason is pride and holding on to his or her ideal right of way. By the way, we do not call it accident. We call it as road crash because such situations can be avoided. And road crashes is a result of our decisions and actions on the road. Thus, it is not an accident. What is roadworthiness? Roadworthiness is the ability of a motor vehicle to be in a suitable operating condition or meeting acceptable standards for safe driving and transport of people, baggage, or cargo in roads or streets. First thing first, unsafe motor vehicles. Unsafe motor vehicles are those below satisfactory maintenance performance, insufficient support from the company, abusive handling or driving, lack of basic troubleshooting seminar or training, reactive maintenance, and proactive maintenance. There are some ways to maintain our motor vehicle. One of these is what we call blow baguettes. B stands for battery. How do we take care of our battery? Limit short rides. Keep batteries tightly fastened. Turn off all the lights before getting off. Control the corrosion. Do not use gadgets or accessories when engine is off. How to clean the battery? Use toothbrush, water, and baking soda or soap. Slide petroleum jelly or contact cleaner on the battery terminal. L stands for lights. How to check busted brake lights. How to check busted signal lights. Check battery or alt icon after starting. Always clean the lens. Make sure to switch the lights on before sunset. Switch off cabin lights when engine is off. Keep windshield and mirrors clean. If possible, switch to low beam lights if you are within 200 meters of the car in front of you. The driver in front of you might get distracted if your lights are in high beam. It makes it hard for the driver to concentrate on the road since your lights are reflecting on its rear view mirror. Avoid too much tint since it would be harder to look at our sides, especially when it's dark. Avoid using excessive headlights. As mentioned, excessive headlights could be a distraction to vehicles in front of us. It is also unsafe for the vehicle coming from the opposite direction since the driver won't be having a clearer view of what's in front of him or her. O stands for oil. Check the engine oil level regularly and add if necessary. Change engine oil at regular interval. Check for oil leaks. Avoid prolonged RPM to avoid oil leaks. Check ball joint greasing, fluids, and steering oil or gear oil. W stands for water. Check the water lever regularly. Avoid overfilling the reservoir to maintain correct back pressure. Replace radiator cap if required to avoid overheating. Do not condemn thermostat. Always check upper and lower hose. Another B stands for brake. Check for oil leak on the brake master cylinder. Check for oil leak on the caliper or piston. Check for allowable thickness of rotors and brake pads. Regularly wash the rotors and pads to remove residuals or dusts. After repair, drive the vehicle and apply brake within a block, then wash the brake parts with clean water. Always check for leak on pipes. Check fluid reservoir, its color and odor. A stands for accessories. Accessories, we have horn, wipers, windshields, parking brake, switches and controls, early warning device, seat belts. G stands for gas or fuel. Fuel saving tips. E stands for electrical. Avoid installation of electrical accessories. Must be installed or repaired by a qualified auto electrician. Avoid using substandard electrical wires. Avoid using substandard electrical fuse and fuse holders. Avoid putting water on dashboard when cleaning. Never do a spaghetti wire. Now, let's move on to tires. Here's a sample of danger of tires. This video is a sample that any parts of a motor vehicle could cause catastrophic damages when left unsupervised or unmaintained. Here are the samples of different inflation of tires. Before driving, we should not only maintain our motor vehicle, but the most important factor is ourselves. Are we mentally and physically fit to drive? Let's move on to the causes and prevention of road crash. The human factor. We have discussed a while back about fatigue. Causes of fatigue: straight duty for personal reasons. Straight duty as induced by supervisor. Okay, for prevention, define rest hours or days. Observe the 6-hour driving rule. The 6-hour driving rule is when a driver must take a break for 15 minutes at least once before driving for more than 6 hours. Do stretching, eat or drink coffee, something that would keep you awake. Another cause of road crash is uncontrolled nightlife. Drunk driving and hangovers. Drinking and driving don't mix. It is hard for a drunk driver to drive since he or she loses her balance and senses are not stable. Drunk and tired drivers have lesser awareness and has the tendency to be reckless on the road. Here are some activities of uncontrolled nightlife that contributes to the tardiness of the driver. We have partying and socializing. Another, gambling and other bad habits like taking drugs and pot session. Excessive use of the social network and media that would keep a driver awake till late at night could also contribute to fatigue and tardiness for the next day's drive. Uncontrolled nightlife could also result to poor hygiene, tardiness, and poor reflexes. Distracted driving. Emotions. Positive or negative emotions affect our driving. Positive emotions makes us more calm and relaxed on the road, while negative emotions could turn us to an aggressive driver, which could lead to road crash. Loud music or video players is a distraction. Our awareness on the road lessen, and it would be hard for us to hear horn signals from other drivers. Unable to notice the signal might end up to road crash. RA 10913 or the Anti-Distracted Driving Act forbids us from using our electronic gadgets on the road, especially when composing text messages or answering calls with the use of one hand. Conversing with passenger or other employee is good, as long as our focus is still on the road. Otherwise, if extra movements and frequent removing your sight in the road makes it dangerous. What to do when hungry? Of course, eat. But make sure to find a safe place where you could stop your motor vehicle and you won't be an obstruction to other road users. Not like the bus driver shown in this clip, peeling an apple while driving. No matter how good you are as a driver, never attempt this. Excessive decorations in our windshield or dashboards that block our line of sight is dangerous. There are designated places for some accessories like phones and dashcams. Observe the 4 inches rule, where no item higher than 4 inches will be placed on top of the dashboard. Take time to study and familiarize yourself with the Republic Act 10913 or the Anti-Distracted Driving Act. It gives you the guidelines, especially about the do's and don'ts in our dashboard, and the guidelines about using our gadgets. Ordinary illness like sore eyes, strain, flu, and others could be a distraction while driving. Make sure to take the prescribed medicine in order to cure and prevent making illness more complicated. Do not force yourself to drive if not feeling well. To sum up, what could we do to prevent road crashes? First, follow the law on anti-distracted driving. Leave all emotions behind. Concentrate on the steering wheel. When sick, go to the doctor. As a defensive driver, make it a habit to ask yourself, am I safe to drive? Do I have any symptoms? Am I taking any over-the-counter prescription or other drugs? Do I have any worries about the job, finances, or families? Have I been drinking for the last 24 hours? Have I worked more than my physical ability with incomplete rest? Am I hungry? Upon asking ourselves about these questions, and if we could say that I'm safe, then you are free to go. If you're in doubt with one or more questions given, ask yourself, what can I do about it? Next, arrogance and limited knowledge of the law. Kayabangan at kamangmangan. Drivers who are recklessly overspeeding, even in steep roads, are prone to road crash. Arrogant drivers are careless, committing illegal turns and change of lanes, blind curve recklessness. Another sign of arrogant drivers are those who disregard road traffic signs, signals, and warnings. They allow other person to drive even with limited knowledge on driving. They lack discipline and proper training. Now, I will be presenting to you some video clips of arrogant driver. You have seen the damage that arrogant drivers could make. I hope that these examples be of lesson for everyone. Do not wait for your deathbed before the change of heart. Sabi nga nila, nasa huli ang pagsisisi. Apprentice drivers and drivers without driver's license. Apprentice drivers may drive during non-peak hours. Assigned drivers must teach the proper way on how to pick up passengers. Avoid talking to apprentice drivers while on the steering wheel. Give suggestion to apprentice drivers while on break. Never allow another person to drive without a valid driver's license. Let me show you again another video clip of lack of discipline and proper training. This is what it looks like when we discussed about no abrupt stopping in an expressway and when in front of a trailer truck, since they need a certain distance to put their trailer trucks into stop. This is an example of lack of discipline, training, and lack of road awareness. Warning: the next video is too intense, but we need this to warn you as early as now to be careful. Here are some causes that somehow might lead to unexpected road crash. We have age factor and illness. We also have road conditions and engineering. The common error are confusion and improper warning sign locations and meanings. This for an example: slow down, road widening 150 meters ahead. The warning sign says 150 meters ahead, but the actual construction is even less a meter from the signboard. We also have confusing traffic signs. As you could see, it says U-turn slot, but on the other post, it says no U-turn. We also have no stopping bus stop. Next, we have lack of notice and communication. Unannounced road repair from LGUs and national government. Co-employees failed to inform supervisors or dispatchers on physical changes along the route. Improper parking may result to road crash. Parking brake must be 100% working. Level parking, front wheel must be straight and parallel to the street. Curb, elevated concrete edging of a street or path. Uphill parking with the curb. Front wheel must be pointing away from the curb. For uphill parking without curb, front wheel must be pointing into the sidewalk. For uphill parking with curb, front wheel must be pointing away from the curb. For uphill parking without curb, front wheel must be pointing into the sidewalk. Downhill parking with curb, front wheel must be pointing into the curb. Downhill parking without curb, front wheel must be pointing into the sidewalk. Here is the example. Basic technique in parallel parking or reverse parking. Let's review our session 2. Assign an imaginary marker while backing or maneuvering backwards. Never change the imaginary marker. Imaginary markers must not be more than 1 foot from the edge of the vehicle being marked. Here are some common road crash and breakdown due to mechanical parts. We have overheating, exhaust manifold, electrical accessories, sticking brake, brake fade, oil leak, flat tires and wheel nuts, belts, pulleys and bearings. Safety issue, shifting. Improper and untimely changing of gear may cause engine failure. Tip: shifting of gear requires knowledge on the capability of the vehicle, the load, the road condition, or engineering design. Proper shifting must be done before or within the green band. Never rev the engine up to the red band. If possible, switch off the aircon when driving uphill. scrubbing occur when our wheels have been misaligned. Next, motor vehicle factor. We have overheating. Common symptoms of overheating: high temperature gauge, white exhaust, low power. Common effects of overheating: engine stock up and engine fire. Another common cause of overheating is water leak or clogged radiator, clogged air filter, water and oil mix on engine block, insufficient oil. Another cause: sticking brake, prolonged low gear during uphill, excessive use of aircon, belts are broken, loose, or etc. Exhaust manifold. Sign and symptoms of manifold leak. We have low power or low engine efficiency, poisonous carbon monoxide, colorless, odorless smoke may go inside the cabin. We also have crack pipe. We also have extra volume of noise within engine compartment, sputtering, soft explosive sounds. For electrical accessories, never add or alter electrical accessories without proper authority. Oil leak or engine compartment. Cause of oil leaks: back job, prolonged idling, over RPM, substandard gaskets or O-rings. Next, we have effects of oil leaks: overheating or fire, internal damage, engine stock up. Belts, pulleys, and bearings include water drop or sand check to determine if belt or bearing wear and tear. Flat tires and wheel nuts. What could happen if we have flat tires or unfixed wheel nuts? Engineering, environmental, and weather factors. We have debris and construction materials, potholes or manholes, undisciplined pedestrians and street vendors, rains, flood, fogs, etc. what to do on wet or flooded roads. Be aware, calm and ready. As much as possible, do not step on the brake. Reduce speed by releasing the accelerator pedal. Gently step on the brakes after passing the wet road to dry the brake pads, rotors, lining, and drums. Let's talk about emergency situations and what should we do if faced such situations. What should we do when we experience tire blowout? First thing to keep in mind is don't brake suddenly. Keep calm and focus. Look to your target or escape area. Once you have determined your escape area, steer toward your target. Then, slow down gradually. Pull to the side of the road and turn on your hazard lights.
It can happen anywhere, anytime. You're driving along and then suddenly, bang! A whoosh of air, a vibration in the wheel, and your blown out tire flapping against the road. So how do you handle a tire blowout? First, stay calm and keep a firm grip on the steering wheel. Next, don't slam on the brakes. It's better to let your car slow down gradually. And finally, pull over to the side of the road when you've slowed to a safe speed. After a blowout, only exit your vehicle if you're certain you are safely off the road and out of harm's way. Turn your emergency flashers on to alert other drivers, and put out reflective cones or triangles if you have them. If it isn't safe to change the tire where you are, or you're not sure how, call for roadside assistance. Tips for handling a tire blowout.
Next, laws of brake. Don't panic. Stay focused. Control steering and avoid oversteering. It would make it harder to get back to track. Aim to your target or escape area. Rapidly pump the brakes. Downshift or lower your gear to reduce speed. Next, do not switch off the engine. Not only will the car continue coasting, but it will lock up the steering wheel, causing you to lose any control of the vehicle. Locking up the steering wheel would also result to the vehicle going in only one direction, as to where the wheels locked up. Next, use parking brake. Keep the release lever open. Use soft crash area if necessary. A brake failure can be a complete loss of brakes or only power brake failure. Next, we have engine overheat. Engines can overheat for many reasons. In general, it's because something's wrong within the cooling system and heat isn't able to escape the engine compartment. The source of the issue could include a cooling system leak, faulty radiator fan, broken water pump, or clogged coolant hose. What could we do in case of overheating? Excess heat can damage the engine. Monitor your vehicle's temperature, radiator hoses, and coolant level. Stop the vehicle but do not switch off the engine. Next, cool the engine. Let the engine idle. Turn the ignition off and open the hood. Add coolant if there is no leak. In case of engine fire, steer out of traffic, away from buildings, people, and other cars. Have all occupants leave the car immediately and move away. Next, do not open the hood. The fire will flare up as all the fumes escape upward and oxygen flows in from the bottom. Now it is a bigger fire. So even if you have an extinguisher, opening the hood may just flare up the fire, so it is totally out of control. And don't forget, turn off the ignition, then get out quickly. How about skid and traction loss? Look where you want to go. Steer where you want to go. Off pedals. Release the brake or accelerator to maintain rolling traction. Never give up. Maintain constant attention to steering until the vehicle is back under control. Use trail braking if needed. For situations with poor visibility, drive with lights on and low beam. Slow down. For signal turn, give enough time for signal turns before proceeding to turn. Reduce distractions like frequently checking your phone or changing music in your car. Use clean wiper. And stop at a safe place. Emergency procedures. Stay calm and check for injuries. Keep safety first and find out your location if anyone is injured. Call the Philippine National Police Hotline 117 or Red Cross Hotline 143 immediately. Be prepared before it happens. Always bring your emergency kit in your car. First aid kit, flashlight, and early warning device. It is also important to photograph and document the accident, the incident, involved parties, witnesses, and police officers. For a variety of reasons, you always need to do everything in your power to preserve evidence when you are involved in any major road crashes. It is advisable to capture evidence even in the aftermath of minor crashes. A major accident makes that preservation even more necessary because when any type of injury or damage is involved, your insurance company will also be involved. Major crashes can involve injuries of a more severe nature and serious property damage. As a result, they can also result in a greater possibility of litigation. You may need to go to court to press your claim or may find yourself defending against another driver's claim. In either instance, you will need as much evidence as you can gather. Reportable crashes always involve law enforcement. Depending on the cause of the accident and the outcome, there is even a possibility that criminal charges could result. Proper preservation of evidence could be your best defense. Next, in an emergency, make sure all passengers are uninjured. Move them out of the vehicle to a safe place away from oncoming traffic. If injuries have occurred like cuts, abrasion, or others, administer. When you notice that oil light is on, it means that the engine has low oil pressure. Check the oil level and add oil if you have some with you. Otherwise, have the vehicle towed to a repair shop. For brake light on, check the operation of the brake pedal. If it feels spongy or goes to the floor, stop driving and have the vehicle towed to a service facility. If the pedal feels firm and the brakes stop the vehicle, check the brake fluid level in the reservoir. If it's low, add more brake fluid. If the light stays on after you've added fluid, but the pedal is still firm, have the vehicle serviced as soon as possible. Next, for airbag or SRS light on. SRS stands for Supplemental Restraint System. When the light is on, the airbags have shut down and will not work if you get into an accident. Get the vehicle serviced soon. For traction control or stability control light on, there's a problem with the system. You can still drive the vehicle but exercise extra caution on slippery roads and in turns. Have the system serviced soon. Check engine light on. If the engine's running smoothly and the transmission is shifting properly, you can continue to drive the vehicle until you can get it checked by a mechanic. If it's flashing, pull over at the nearest safe spot. Have the vehicle towed to a repair shop immediately. Charging system light on. There's a major failure with the charging system. Drive immediately to the nearest repair shop. The charging system light will illuminate when the vehicle control system detects a problem with either the battery or the alternator. It means that the charging voltage is low. Most often, it indicates a problem with the alternator, but there can be other causes as well. Let's talk about road crash. Road crash is an accident involving one or more motor vehicle occurring on a road open to public circulation that usually result in death, physical injuries, and damage to property. Here are the factors of road crash. We have human factor, machine or motor vehicle factor, engineering or infrastructure factor, and environmental or other factor. Road users affected by road crash. We have drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, pedestrians, cyclists, bystanders, and hawkers. What to do if you get involved in road crash? First, stop. Never drive away from the scene of an accident, even a minor one. We have been mentioning that road safety is a shared responsibility. This means that in every decision, we are faced with different consequences. May it be good or bad. But either way, we must have the responsibility to face these consequences of our actions. Protect the scene and assess safety. Use flares or cones if you have them, and turn on your hazard lights so that you can be more visible and move the vehicles involved out of the traffic lanes if they are not disabled. Call for help. It is good idea to call a police and ambulance immediately if anyone is hurt or if the road is blocked. Take note, in a critical situation with serious injury, every second counts. Call for professionals and while waiting, assess the situation and report every detail to the police or medics when they arrive. Make an accurate record. When a police or ambulance arrive, make sure you tell exactly what happened and if there are any injured driver or passengers. Let's talk about first aid. We could never know what may happen on the road. No matter how good a driver we are, there are always those who are reckless that might get us in a difficult situation. Thus, it is important for us to at least know the basics of first aid. So what is first aid? First, an immediate treatment that is given to the victim of an accident or sudden illness before any medical help arrives. First aid tips. Attend to anyone who is not yet walking and talking. If any of the vehicle is on fire, remove all occupants and make sure everyone is well clear. Do not remove the injured unless they are in burning car or other immediate danger. Unnecessary moving often makes injuries worse. Check for breathing and apply mouth-to-mouth resuscitation if needed. Contact a doctor or ambulance for serious and physical injuries. Do not attempt to give first aid unless you have been trained in it. Steps in examining victims of road crash. Check if the victim is breathing and has a pulse. Look for signs of bleeding or hemorrhage. Examine carefully the injuries, particularly fractures. Apply appropriate first aid measures. Call for medical help. For neck and back injuries, may cause severe damage to spinal cord, leading to paralysis. Carefully examine the victim first. Call a doctor or ambulance. Keep the injured warm. Do not move patient until after you have determined the nature of injuries. If the person is to be taken to safety, move the body lengthwise. Do not lift the person holding his heels and head only. If the victim is to be transported, improvise a stretcher and carry it in reclining or semi-reclining position. Here are steps in administering first aid. Number 1. For motor vehicle road crashes, avoid moving the injured as much as possible. Pack clothing or bandages around the spine or broken bones to prevent movement. Stop any bleeding by applying direct pressure to the injury with bandages or clothing. Elevate the area bleeding to chest height if possible. If the victim is conscious, ask the person to apply pressure to help calm any shock. Amputation. Stop the bleeding. Elevate the injured area. Wrap or cover the injured area with a sterile dressing or clean cloth until medical treatment is received. Apply pressure if the injured area is bleeding. This will slow the bleeding until the person receives medical care. Bleeding, wear gloves, stop the flow of blood, cover the wound, apply pressure. For minor wounds, let the wound bleed to flush out bacteria and dirt. Wash with soap and water. Brush away dirt using clean gauze or cloth. Use alcohol on skin around the wound. Burns, extinguish flames. Take off burnt clothing. Do not touch adhered portions. Cover burnt area with dry dressing. Also, apply ice pack covered with towel. For minor burns, immediately immerse in cool water. Seek medical help. Next, we have electrical burns. Turn off source of electric current. If first step is impossible, remove victim using wooden pole, chair, or another non-metal object. If the victim stops breathing, apply CPR. Then seek medical help. Eye injuries. Specks in the eye. Do not rub the eye. Lift lid and gently remove speck with clean cloth or immerse face in a basin of clean water and block a few times. If speck remains, see medical help. Blow to the eyes. Apply cold pack for 15 minutes. Seek medical help immediately to prevent eye damage. Cut in the eye and lid. Bandage the eye. Do not touch the eye. Seek medical help. For fainting, lay the victim down with feet elevated. Do not give the person anything to drink until he or she regains consciousness. Loosen the clothes of the victim. Wipe the face with a damp towel, but do not pour water on him or her. Fracture. Gently straighten fractured limbs, but do not touch dislocations of the joints. In an open fracture or when bones stick out of the skin, simply cover with sterile dressing and do not try to push back the bone. Splinting should not be tied. This could hinder blood circulation. Thus, seek medical help. Next is heart cramps. Drink a half-full glass of salt water solution every 15 minutes of an hour. Massage does not help. Instead, gently stretch the body part. Include more vegetable and fruit diet to fill up possible sodium and potassium deficiency that leads to heart cramp. For heart stroke, move victim to a cool area. Remove victim's clothes to allow air to circulate around his body and wrap him in wet towel. Place ice pack in neck, armpits and groin area. Drink water, taken a little at a time, provided the person is conscious. Seek medical help. Shock. Let the victim lie down with the legs at an elevated position. This makes the blood in the legs and the torso return to the heart more rapidly. Free his passageway of any obstruction. Cover him or her with a blanket if he or she feels cold. First aid for traffic road crash victims. If you encounter an injured traffic road crash victim, the following should be done. Organize bystanders to warn approaching traffic at least 200 meters before the road crash. Do not shift accident victims unless they are in danger by staying where they are. Check breathing. Stay calm and keep the patient calm. Stop the bleeding. Wash small cuts with mild soap and water to remove dirt and germs. Use ice on sprains to reduce swelling but do not massage. Do not give anything to eat or drink. It may cause vomiting and choking to injured person. Help get the patient to a hospital. Seek medical help. Phone the patient's family if possible so that someone can go to the hospital to look after everything or take the patient home. Three things to avoid accidents. Number 1. To stop quickly, step on the brake. If the car begins to skid, release the brake. Step on the brake again using a pumping action. Pump the brake until the car stops. If you do not have time to stop turn, run off the road if you have to, and if there is a room. Running off the road is usually better than hitting another car. Try not to brake as you turn. Number 3. Sometimes you can speed up to avoid an accident. This may work if the car is going to hit you on the side or rear. If you are going to be hit on the rear, be ready to brake so that you will not be pushed into another car. If you are going to be hit from the side, brace yourself with the steering wheel. Perhaps you can keep yourself from being thrown against the side of the car. Let's look at the duties and responsibilities of a driver. He must diligently secure an appropriate driver's license from the Land Transportation Office and to carry it at all times while driving a motor vehicle. Remember, all times. Second, he must know, follow, and abide the land transportation laws, rules, and regulations. Ignorance of the law excuses no one. Third, he must be a defensive driver, someone who deliberately drives in such a way as to reduce the risk of accidents. Number 4, he must exercise due diligence as a good father of the family. Number 5, he must assure that the vehicle he is driving is duly registered, roadworthy, and emission compliant. Number 6, he must be taking appropriate measures to secure and safeguard the vehicle until it is returned to the designated location. Number 7, he must regularly conduct proper motor vehicle pre-trip inspection. As we have mentioned before, we have blow-baga and safety with DADS, and to correct the defects or non-conformities in order to avoid accidents or delays. Know that road crashes can be prevented because it can be predicted. 8th, he must ensure that the vehicle is kept clean, tidy, and in good working condition at all times. 9. He must know what to do and act in case of accident or incident. Number 10, he must be literate, skillful, competent, and eager to learn more and to enhance his knowledge and capabilities. Number 11, he must know his rights and privileges. Thus, having a driver's license is only a privilege and not a right. Number 12, he must always observe road safety, discipline, and courtesy. Number 13, he must ensure that he is in a healthy condition with no contagious disease that can affect him and his passengers. Let's move on to rights of a driver when apprehended. A driver has right to be informed of the full name of the apprehending officer. We also have the right to be informed of the traffic agency for which the apprehending officer works. We also have the right to know if the apprehending officer is an officer for traffic direction and control or a deputized officer. We also have the right to be informed of the nature of violations for which the driver is being apprehended. We also have the right not to step down from the vehicle. We also have the right to contest the apprehension at the appropriate office of the concerned traffic agency when not satisfied with the apprehension. We also have the right to file the appropriate criminal, civil, or administrative case in case of abuse of authority or for any other irregularities which may be committed by the traffic officer.